So I think I've been fairly even-handed with Joss, but this one will be slightly more biased towards Snyder. Now, I want to be clear, the article in question in New York is actually not pro Snyder. It has a lot of issues. But we're not going to deal with that today. We're going to deal with two major issues. One involving an interesting lore question with the Buffy bot within Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and another with Angel the series. So essentially, the article goes through accusations and counter accusations, but it does give us some confirmations, which are fairly devastating. But one of them is interesting because the actress is not named, but I do think I know who they're talking about. So let me set it up. Essentially, Joss denies that he threatened Gal Gadot's career. He says she didn't understand English. English is not her first language. Gal Gadot responded, I understood perfectly well what you were saying. And she went to her superiors. And to their credit, apparently they did handle the situation. And a second actress who worked on Angel confirms she also was threatened, but Joss denies he doesn't threaten anybody. Okay, that's one thing, but there's also an interesting incident, and this got physical, where apparently they were debating the Buffy bot. So, what is the Buffy bot? Well, essentially, for lack of a better word, Spike during season 5 forced someone to create essentially a sex robot in the image of Buffy for himself, and that's the Buffy bot. But the Buffy bot got caught by Buffy and her friends, and they basically tried to manipulate her to use her for their purposes. But it's been kind of an ongoing, interesting, recurring character. In its first appearance, though, they tried to figure out how to dress her up because the costume that the Buffy bot has is kind of a mixture of the traditional Buffy outfit with some other things. And apparently it was getting very heated, and Joss assaulted essentially the costume designer. Some people have said that Sarah Michelle Gellar was the victim. No, it's not her, it's the costume designer. Some people got that wrong. So that's pretty disturbing on itself. But then I think the threatening thing is actually much more problematic because, again, a lot of this is, well, how do we confirm this? But again, if we can find the second Angel actress, we'll sort of at least have now a very strong confirmation with what Gal Gadot says. Now, this is me just being speculative, but really using my Whedonverse knowledge. I think this is Sarah, who played Eve in season 5 of Angel. Essentially, what happens in season 5 is Angel makes a deal with the devil. He takes over Wolfman Hart, but they try to still have some people there to guard him and watch him. One of these people is Eve, but she has her own agenda, and it's played by a kind of red haired actress. Now, why do I say this? Well, the dispute in question was the actress wanted basically a little bit more money. The agent encouraged her to negotiate the contract, and Joss got really, really angry. But what's really telling and decisive is apparently he used the same language that he used with Gal Gadot. So the actress says that's basically the same line he used on me. So it's like, wow, that's pretty strong evidence that there's this kind of systemic pattern. Now, you don't have to say it's abusive, but you can definitely say he does have this systemic issue. If he's challenged, he's going to start threatening people. And this goes across the board with actresses, producers, writers. I think it's definitely Sarah. Now, the actress doesn't identify herself, so I'm not trying to out her, but why her? Well, again, it doesn't make sense if it's Amy Acker or some of the other regular actresses because, again, if you're in the credits officially, you're already getting paid a lot of money. Once you're in the beginning opening credits, you already have a huge boost in your salary. So it might be possible it's Amy Acker or some of the other actresses, but it would probably be a recurring character who is a female. Well, by process of elimination, the best inference to explanation, it's probably her, right? Because she's a recurring character. She was a kind of major character, but she wasn't in every episode. So she only showed up for part of the season, but in quite a few episodes. So it makes sense that she would have some negotiating power, saying, well, I'll do these and these episodes, but if you want me back for these episodes, I do want to be paid more. And it's interesting, you can definitely tell if Joss likes an actress because he usually works with her over and over again. And he's worked with Amy Acker on quite a number of productions. So if money was the issue, well, that doesn't make sense because Amy Acker is kind of sure, well, I'm going to work with Joss down the line and going to get paid there. So it would have to be an actress who probably thought season 5 is going to be her only Joss Whedon role, and it has to be a recurring role and probably not somebody in the title. Process of elimination It's probably Sarah. So it does appear that they have an actual real witness. But again, if you didn't want to be named, I don't want anybody to bug her or anything like that. But again, in terms of just full disclosure and getting the most information possible, I don't think this is like he said, she said. If we have two independent witnesses from decades apart, that I do think is very strong evidence that, if not abuse, that definitely Joss acted very systemically biased towards some actresses, but against other actresses. It's not good. Again, whether you decide to cancel Joss, well, I leave that up to you. Again, I'm mostly judging the Whedonverse in terms of aesthetics, but again, we have to deal with some of the behind-the-scenes drama in some places. And there we are with Gal Gadot strikes back against Joss, and apparently some people on Angel as well. Thank you for listening.